Thanks for joining us here on Arc Salt Lake. I'm Brian Schnee. It is Monday, August 19th. Tonight we're taking a look at the first evening of the Democratic National Convention, the DNC as it's called, taking place in Chicago right now, and also the damage that's been caused all across the state of Utah. We will go in depth on that shortly. Day one of the DNC in Illinois. It's an event that has changed in just about every way possible in the last few weeks alone. Christine Frizzau in Chicago with a look at how it's all coming together tonight.
Tonight we'll hear from the man we thought this entire convention would be based around, President Joe Biden. And this is historic. He stepped aside to make room for his Vice President Kamala Harris. But he is insisting that tonight is not about looking back, but about what the future of this country can and should be. The stage is set for a convention that just 1 month ago appeared would have a very different feel.
We're seeing now a burst of excitement and energy, but also people who want to work to make sure they win. And I think that is extremely important because the election, of course, is going to be tight.
Instead of running for a second term, President Joe Biden expected to pass the baton to his partner these last 4 years, Vice President Kamala Harris. Tonight's theme, For the People, an echo of Harris's campaign slogan when she ran in the 2020 election, dropping out before the primaries officially began.
She's going to be there tonight and through the week for economic justice, justice for all families in America. And so it's just so fitting that that's the theme that we're kicking off tonight.
President Biden expected to focus on a term that began in the depths of a COVID-stricken country, touting their joint accomplishments, as former President Trump ties them together on vulnerabilities like inflation and the border. Choreographed unity inside the convention center, standing in sharp contrast to demonstrations outside. Protesters continue to demand major changes in policy on Israel's war in Gaza.
Our demands are directly connected to Palestine because the government continues to send tens of billions of dollars to Israel while there is a deterioration in living conditions for people in this country.
After his speech tonight, the president and First Lady Jill Biden will head to California for vacation and perhaps, like most Americans, watch the rest of this convention on TV. In Chicago, I'm Christine Frizzau.
All right, Heidi Hatch, kind enough to join us here on Arc Salt Lake at 7 o'clock to talk about the DNC, because you've been to a DNC before.
Yes, I went to the RNC and the DNC in 2016. It was actually very interesting to see them up close and personal, what happens there. The RNC, when you look back, it seems like a long time ago, but Utah Republicans were trying to make sure that Trump didn't become the nominee. Obviously, it was different this time around. And the Democratic National Convention, it was interesting to see it play out on TV because you saw the glitz and the glamour and what they wanted you to see. And it seemed to me that the DNC had a little bit more of the Hollywood production style than the RNC there. Because when you were in the arena, you could see what was actually happening and what was coming on your TVs. And they do a slick job of showing what was happening on your TV. While we're seeing protests this year outside of the DNC here in 2024, there were actually a lot of protests going on in 2016 where people who were pretty upset that Bernie Sanders was not the nominee and that the Democrats had kind of cherry-picked Hillary Clinton, they broke into the media headquarters and protested. There was people like taping themselves to the wall. They had to call police in. So the Democratic National Convention is known for protests, but I think it's going to be a bigger story this year around than it has been in the past.
Something you say probably was hidden a little bit by the larger scale coverage, but
Yeah.
I imagine at the local level, it's probably something you talked about a little bit.
Yeah, I was live there every night. We were showing what was going on. They had to bring in highway patrol troopers to protect the media in the tent there. So we were certainly covering it, but it wasn't something that you saw on national television. It'll be interesting this time around, too, as the DNC is kind of rolling out where their platform is. They're going to have former President Obama, former President Clinton, and they're both skilled orators. People listen. It gets quiet in the room when they're there, so that will be a big deal. And we're seeing video right now of President Biden. This is obviously an unusual circumstance where he will speak tonight and hand over what people are calling the keys of the Democratic Party to Kamala Harris, which will be interesting.
I think it's interesting when you look at the vibe of the environment, right?
Yeah.
The RNC versus the DNC. Having been to both, how different are they in person?
They're oddly enough, they're different, but a lot of the same.
Okay.
There's a lot of energy. When I look back to 2016, I don't think the same energy was in the room for Donald Trump then, because I think that people were unsure of whether or not they wanted him to be the nominee, even though he was. when you looked at the RNC this last time around, now in 2024, I think there was newfound energy for Donald Trump. It was right after the attempted assassination. The DNC, there's going to be a huge amount of excitement for, obviously, because there's new blood. President Biden was not getting a lot of people excited, so that will be interesting to watch too. But yeah, they're a lot of the same, different but the same. So it's interesting to watch.
Heidi, before you go, obviously you focus each week on different political topics on your podcast. I imagine you're going to be talking about the DNC this week.
We're going to be talking about it, and the interesting part is to see what the speakers are talking about. One thing that people have been concerned about with Vice President Kamala Harris is they don't know where she stands on a lot of issues. So I hope that we leave this week knowing a better idea of which way she's headed. Is she the same person that was running for president in 2020, or has she moderated since then? So there's going to be a lot that we're watching for this week, and I think voters are going to be watching for as well.
Stark differences when you look at the potential candidates for everything, right? Because you have Donald Trump and, of course, his selected VP pick, which are very outspoken. They gravitate towards the camera anytime there's a possibility to do so. And then there's Kamala Harris and her VP pick, where things are very kind of guarded. The term scripted has been used, right? Because it hasn't been as free-flowing in terms of the media outreach. So tonight, even tonight, are moving through the DNC, probably expecting to get some more of that clarification on some of the stances, right?
I think we're hoping so. And one thing, too, that's interesting when you look back to the DNC in 2016 and this year, there's going to be some similarities. I think that people were there thinking it was a historic moment. It might be the first female president we have. I remember after the final night there at the DNC, everyone was picking up every last piece of sign or garbage or confetti because they wanted to have a piece of what they thought was history and the first woman president. It didn't happen, and I think that's going to happen again this year, where people are going to be hoping that this is their chance to bring something home for a piece of history. Will it happen? I don't know. Anything
else you're expecting to take away from what we learn at the DNC over the course of the next few hours, of course, and then through the couple days?
I think a lot of it's going to be where the party's going. One thing that I thought was interesting is you're seeing all of these protesters outside that are pro-Palestine, and the question was inside the arena going to be different and be pro-Israel? Were they going to ignore that faction? But AOC, one of the squad members, who I think would probably be on the side of some of those protesters, will be on the docket speaking this week. So I think there's just going to be a lot of giving us a better idea of where the party's headed. Are they going to go to the far left? Are they going to get to be a bit more centrist? We don't know yet. So.
And there's always music. There's always kind of that party vibe. So regardless of what side you're leaning on, you still get that.
Yeah, and the DNC, I think, does a better job at pulling in Hollywood stars, if you care about that when you vote. I don't know that most people, when they vote, care about, stars and how they vote, but it is going to be a good show, I think.
Star here on 2 News, joining us tonight on Arc Salt Lake. Thank you so much, Heidi. Stay with 2 News for the latest on the DNC in Chicago. CBS News will also be providing the live coverage of the convention beginning tonight, 8 p.m. on our main station, KUTV 2 News. Of course, wrap up tonight, 2 News at 10 o'clock. While Democrats focus in on Chicago this week and rallying behind Kamala Harris, former President Donald Trump is taking on his busiest week on the campaign trail since the primary. He'll be focusing on the economy and energy in the state of Pennsylvania today. Then he'll head to Michigan for crime and safety and tackle national security in North Carolina before heading to the border to address immigration. GOP leaders have called on Trump to focus on policy over some personal attacks at his rallies. Just as Democrats did during the RNC, Trump's allies will be holding press conferences each day of the convention in Chicago to counter the expected speakers and the messaging there. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, weekend storms still causing quite the mess across the state of Utah. We've got some storms rolling through tonight. Look at the cleanup efforts underway, and meteorologist Sean Kelly with his forecast. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us tonight. A special thanks to all of you watching on YouTube and Facebook Live tonight. First night of the show, we've been able to roll it back out, so it's great to have you on the socials. A family in Lehigh says the recent flash floods caused some damage on their property again, and they say a water catch basin built above them is the cause. However, they say it's just one of the issues they're trying to work through here. Ariel Harrison spent the time in Lehigh today off of Redwood Road to explain what happened here.
The family tells me not only is a failing catch basin a reason their property continues to get damaged during floods, but work UDOT is doing across this way is likely a reason they don't have clean drinking water right now.
All that mud just from up top.
Carson Hardman lives in this home off 2100 North and runs the business next door. Video he took during last night's storms shows floodwater washing out his driveway.
There's a catch basin up there.
Yes, ma'am.
So it broke?
Yeah, this is the second time it's happened, and it wiped our road out once.
Above his property sits newer homes in Saratoga Springs. The city says the HOA of that development owns the catch basin Hardman and his family continue to have issues with.
I just got off the phone with the city and they told me that catch basin is HOA and they're not affiliated essentially.
All of the engineering, all of the planning for those roads, for the runoff water, all of that had to be designed by an engineer, presented to Saratoga Springs.
Laura is Carson's grandmother. She and her husband have owned surrounding land in the area for almost 50 years. While she's concerned about the flood damage from the catch basin issue, she's also worried about this.
Their running water was milk chocolate. It was just full of mud.
For the past 2 weeks, she says water inside her grandson's home and business comes out of the faucet looking like this. Something both she and Carson believe is caused by UDOT's work around the well their water comes from. And while they understand housing developments and highway expansions are necessary, they say it's happening at their expense.
You're just saying, who's going to help us, right?
I would like some responsibility somewhere. That'd be nice.
I feel angry and taken advantage of.
What are your next steps?
We contacted our lawyer.
With no usable drinking water inside the home or business next door, they've reached out to UDOT asking for assistance to address this issue. UDOT did tell me today this is something they're looking into now. As far as the catch basin above, I reached out to the developer of those homes to find out who's responsible for securing it to ensure it's not flooding again. Reporting in Lehigh, Ariel Harrison, KUTV 2 News.
Members of the Red Cross are heading to Sanpete County to help people who have experienced extreme flooding there. Teams will hand out cleanup kits. Heavy rain in places like Fountain Green caused flooding to several homes. They also got more rain in the area again tonight. Crews are working with families to assess the damage there. David Ochoa in Fountain Green for us this evening. We'll have an update tonight on 2 News at 10 o'clock. Let's head south now. In southern Utah, people are cleaning up storm damage near Dixie High School. Liv Kelleher shows us the damage from this weekend's storms.
Dixie High and Dixie Middle School saw some dramatic damages over the weekend after tornado-like winds and rain blew through St. George. Uprooted trees, damaged fences, flying metal signs, and even bent goalposts.
The most impacted structure was this dugout right here across from the tennis courts. As you can see, there's no roof on it anymore. A strong gust of wind came and picked the roof up, blew it over the fence and on top of a car, leaving this entire structure damaged.
Crews arrived at the school this morning starting at 5 a.m. to repair the damage. The Washington County School District says they are working quickly and don't foresee the damage impacting the football or tennis seasons.
Over the past week, these storms have led to flooding in several cities. Like this video from Eagle Mountain. Oh boy, just can't catch a break in parts of Utah County, showing water pouring into a family's home from a window well area. You can find all of our viewer videos and interviews online on our KUTV YouTube page. So the next question here is more on the way. I mean, I think at this point, we've kind of got used to this cycle here, Sean. After a dry stretch, really in different parts of the state, we've had ramped up temperatures. Now we're kind of just in this unsettled pattern, it looks like. Is that the case?
Yeah, that's the time of the year where we see these daily storm chances, a few rain showers here and there. The monsoonal rain season continues on, but look at this, a nice little taste of fall in the days ahead and just in time for the weekend. We're talking about highs that may stay in the 70s here. So we've got some changes in the works, and you can already feel a little bit of a difference today when we didn't see that much rain along the Wasatch Front. Of course, the temperature spiked back up. So we're at 91 degrees still at this hour here, up and down the Wasatch Front. 90 in Delta, 92 in Milford, 88 in Hanksville. St. George is a hot 99 degrees. So what's going on right now? Well, we've got one shower and thunderstorm out just north and east of Wendover that'll be sliding out towards the east. This will move over the Great Salt Lake here in the hour ahead and maybe reach the Brigham City, Ogden area if it doesn't fizzle out. But I think we're done here in Salt Lake City. Further down towards the South Provo, seeing a little bit of rain just south of the area. Where we're seeing the heaviest rain right now is from Soldier Summit up northeastward heading towards the Duchesne area. And that's really about the extent of it right now. We've got some rain further down south and east of Richfield, north of Panguitch, but that's about it. It's nowhere near as widespread as what we were dealing with yesterday or even Saturday. Where the really heavy widespread rain is all the way from Montana down in and around Colorado here, heading up northeastward, heading towards Wyoming and the Great Plains there. They're dealing with an active evening with some strong to severe thunderstorms while we start to dry things out. Tomorrow morning, quiet conditions, but we'll get another shot for some afternoon showers and storms tomorrow, mainly east, heading east along I-15, maybe a spot shower along the Wasatch Front, but it's going to be mainly from the Wasatch back into the Price, Vernal area, further down towards the south and east. And with that, we could see maybe some localized brief flooding, especially down south, closer towards our national parks. So please be mindful of that. 70s and 60s through the overnight as we continue to dry things out. We warm up quite a bit tomorrow, back up into mid and upper 90s. St. George looking at triple-digit heat here through the days ahead. Cooler temperatures, though, Thursday and Friday. St. George, it has been a very long time since we've seen highs here staying below 90 degrees. So that's going to be nice to see on Saturday. We do start to heat things back up, though, by next week. And then along the Wasatch Front, low to middle 90s. Then we get down to the low 90s to upper 80s for Friday. We get the return of a few of those showers and thunderstorms. And then look at this weekend ahead, 80s and 70s, sunshine next week. So the start of something new here, looking really nice as we close out the week, and then that weekend looking, pretty good.
You know, it's interesting, Sean, being outside a lot this weekend. It was really, you just kind of had to plan around every few hours or so.
That's
Maybe
right,
something would move in, and then it would clear up for a few hours. It was kind of these guessing game in a way, knowing that it was a scattered storm that might move through, and maybe you'll get hit, maybe you won't, but it delivered some soaking rain at spots.
Yeah, especially along the Wasatch Front with this time of year with the monsoonal rain showers. More likely than not, you'll see it later in the day. So you want to get your outdoor plans, your shopping done early in the morning, you're traveling early in the morning because that is when is the quietest. And yeah, when we see that return to those rain chances, again, expecting it more so in the afternoon and evening. So we got to plan ahead for that. But still not expecting a washout. I think 70s, Brian, that's going to be really nice.
Even cooler if you head up a higher elevation.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you, Sean. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, a former flight attendant is honoring his coworkers killed on September 11th. How many miles he'll walk to reach ground zero by the anniversary. On the way. All right, back here to finish things up tonight on the program. A former flight attendant left Boston on Sunday on his 4th journey to honor the victims of 9/11.
That's right. Paul Veneto began his journey pushing an airline beverage cart to New York City. It features pictures of the airline crews who were aboard the hijacked planes. Veneto flew into Logan Airport on United Airlines Flight 175 on September 10, 2001. The next day, the plane hit the second tower at the World Trade Center. Veneto will walk more than 200 miles a day to reach ground zero by September 11th.
Wow, that is amazing. Imagine thinking about that. That was my plane the day before.
Right.
And then something like that happens. The beverage cart is fitting, obviously hoping that people still remember this many days, years later.
Yeah,
at
absolutely.
this point. That'll do it for us here on the show tonight. We were going to talk about a python, but we can't do that. We got to go. We're back tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. Have a good night.